hat-trick of assists by one and only Chelsea player Cole Palmer, a hat-trick of goals by Haaland, and another hat-trick by one and only Madueke, the guy who talked shit against Wolves, and he made sure that he proved them wrong. Made sure that the match day 2 was a success, especially for fantasy managers. And now we are back again in studio. Me, your host, Brian Merimo, and my expert,
Alano.
Yeah, and we are back again with match day 3, and of course, to overview as well match day 2 to see how it goes. So, Alan, how are you?
I'm good.
How was your week?
The weekend, if you're referring to the weekend,
of course,
it was one of mixed results, but it was okay nonetheless. Yeah.
How did you figure out the Arsenal performance that weekend?
For me, as an Arsenal fan, I can't take anything away from the match other than just be happy with the results. It was a good outing for the boys.
Fantasy-wise,
Fantasy-wise,
for your team?
a green arrow. For those who play fantasy, they know what a green arrow means. So made one change that didn't really give me a lot of points, but I had good players in the squad.
Yeah, we had the match day 3, of course, match day 2, sorry, and it went so well, yeah. So maybe let's overview a bit of exactly which players did best in the match day 3, and of course the worst performers also. If we start with the best possible players, who do you think made the match day 2 the most points, and what they brought to the managers of the Fantasy Premier League?
That would be, it depends with how you look at it. So for example, Haaland, almost everyone has Haaland in their team. Yeah. So that was a good return, 3 goals to the good. Another good player, Palmer, called Palmer.
Yeah.
Palmer, if you remember last season, he was a mainstay in most of our teams. So again, good return. And maybe for those who just happen to have Madueke in their team, yeah, that was like a really good showing over the weekend.
Yeah, and you know the funny thing is, after Madueke's performance, many managers have now decided to bring him in. Do you think it's a good move?
I'll say it's one of those things that is bound to happen. But then for me, of course, I will not maybe rush just to bring him in. Yeah. I'll maybe wait maybe for the next 2 match days, see how consistent the coach is. Remember, Chelsea have a very big squad. Yeah. So you never know, maybe the next match is rested or something like that. But then if like for the next 2 matches he's consistently being played, then he's a good, maybe we can see how he plays. Yeah,
just maybe another overview of how match day 2 went. We had the highest points, which were 154. We'll also show the team here. And it was quite an interesting team, like we saw the other one in the first match day. This guy had Vicario in goal, Mazraoui, Robertson, Romero, Smith-Rowe, Mohamed Salah, Madueke, Bowen, Son, Haaland, and Welbeck. And again, he also triple captained his captain, who's Haaland. So yeah, it meant that he finished with 154 points, which was the best of that match day globally. And what a performance that is. So it also means that every player that he had like an impact to the game, and it's unbelievable.
So it's one of those things that happens. I'm yet to like critically look at his squad, but then from just the players that we've mentioned, for example, in Liverpool he has Salah, he has Robertson. Most people have Salah and Trent. Yeah. So which is a good thing, because like maybe Robertson will have maybe less returns compared to Trent. But then I'll say in terms of the triple captain, it's one of those things that for me, I'm waiting for when we get to a point where maybe
we have double
game weeks or something like that. But then, given that he still scored 3 goals, and also got the bonus points, it was a good selection for him.
Yeah, still good enough. Yeah, we saw Mazraoui, as we had predicted. We said Mazraoui might be one of the players who would be most transferred by the managers for that match day. And also, now we also have Isak and Solanke. Now moving to match day 3. Isak and Solanke, who have now been the most transferred out players. So for Solanke, you will understand because he has an injury right now, and he didn't perform very well in the first 2 or so matches that he played. But for Isak, do you think it's soon enough for the managers to transfer him out?
Again, I think people have been patient with him from match day 1. So the first match day, it was a bit unfortunate that he didn't. Okay, he got an assist, but people were expecting him to have maybe higher points. Match day 2, again, the return wasn't that good.
Yeah.
So for me, I still have him in my team. I'm not looking to transfer him out now, because I feel like I'll give him one more game
to see if he really can make a difference again. One other time.
Yes,
that's another chance for Isak for you. Well, you will be taking us through your team. We'll see which players you have and the probable transfers that you will make. But now, before that, let's speak about match day 3 fixtures, how they look, and probable players who will do well in this match day, including captains.
Okay.
So, of course, we have Arsenal playing at home against Brighton on a very early kickoff on Saturday. And then same day, okay, I'll base on the big 6 because most of these fantasy Premier League players, especially the most important players, comes from the big 6, right? And then we have Manchester City playing West Ham away from home later in the day. And then we also have Chelsea, Crystal Palace on Sunday now. Chelsea playing Crystal Palace at home. And now also Newcastle playing Tottenham. And the last match will be, of course, the match day before the international break will be Man United and Liverpool. So, looking at these fixtures, may you pinpoint those fixtures that you think could be easier for those teams that are mentioned, so that at least we get something out of it? Let's begin with Arsenal, Brighton playing at home.
Arsenal playing Brighton at home is, if we go by last season's results, trend, we expect Arsenal to keep a clean sheet
again.
They have done so in the first 2 matches. So people already have Gabriel or Saliba, for that matter, in their team. Then I will advise maybe to stick with them, or maybe then most people have Saka in their team. So again, that's a good selection. Going to Man City versus West Ham, I think most people will have Haaland in their team, and maybe Vardiol in defense, or some people are going for Rico Lewis. So again, that's also a good number of players to have in your team. On the last one, that is a bit interesting, is when it comes to Manchester playing Liverpool
at Old Trafford.
So I'll say again, most of us have Mo Salah, have Trent, have Robertson, as you said, the highest person had Robertson. I'll still stick with, if I have Mo Salah, I'll still stick with him, because for me, I'm looking at the next round of fixtures. So after Manchester, Liverpool will have Forest at home, Bournemouth at home, and Wolves away. Those are good run of fixtures for Mo Salah or Trent, both to score or maybe keep a clean sheet. Then something that you just forgot to mention, yes, we focus on having players from of course, the big team. But we also want those bench players that can come in and maybe make some contributions. So, for example, I look at having players from Aston Villa. Aston Villa have been playing well. Despite losing to Arsenal, they still had a good game. And in Aston Villa, I'll be looking at players like Rodgers. He's a very good affordable player at 5.1. We have Konsa in defense at 4.5. And if you look at their run of fixtures, the next match is Leicester, Everton, Wolves, and Ipswich. Those are good matches.
Good matches for you to have someone from Aston Villa. Do you think Watkins could have his mark in the new season?
We have to wait and see, because he's not been playing. I think the first match he played about 60 minutes, so the same as the second match. So I think there's been a bit of lacking match fitness. So maybe let's wait. Let's maybe
give him time to
give him time. And I've said, in Aston Villa, I see more value in
those midfielders,
the midfielders, that is either Rodgers or Konsa in defense.
All right, so that is how probably you guys can take a lot from those fixtures, because we believe they are the most important ones. We believe that is the place where you pick your most important players for your FPL. So we come to the most crucial part, where you'll show us your team, or you'll talk about who you have in your team and probable changes. I'll also show mine, and then from there we will go to another crucial part that we want to introduce today, which is very crucial for our audience. So how does your team look like?
Same as last week. Last week I only made one transfer and brought in Rico Lewis for Man City. It was unfortunate that Man City had to concede early.
Yeah.
But then otherwise he had like really good, he was making like good runs and whatnot. So I still have the same players. I still have Haaland. I still have Gabriel from Arsenal. I still have Alexander Trent. So I'm not the only transfer I'm going to make would be for Nkunku. I think I've given him the first match day, the second match day, still like blanks for me. Those like ideally I think it's about time, and again, considering how Madueke performed over the weekend, I think it's time up for Nkunku. So I look maybe to bring in someone from like maybe Brentford, either Mbeumo or Wissa, or maybe Rogers from Aston Villa.
Same on my side. I still have Saka in my team. I didn't change him, although I almost switched him with Luis Diaz, as I had mentioned in the previous episode. I also still have Haaland, and my team will show right here so that people can have some take out points from it. And most importantly, I think I'm going to take out Nkunku for someone else from Chelsea, probably Madueke. I still haven't made that decision yet. So that is how my team looks like. And this time I'm not asking for any advice, because I'm not going to change anything anyway.
Okay.
Or if I change, at least it will be only Nkunku for Madueke or someone else that I'll make a decision before the weekend. You know, sometimes the press conference usually comes and then you hear a manager saying,
yes,
this player was injured in training or whatever, and now he will not be available. So we have to wait until that time. So I have 4 crucial questions that could help, of course, everyone who's watching, for them to be able to have a side of which they could lean towards when they are picking their team. So question number 1. You have seen the fixtures, we've named them. All the 10 fixtures or thereabout for Premier League.
Yes.
And I want you to pick 5 teams that you think are most likely to keep a clean sheet this weekend.
Unfortunately, I'll have to disappoint you. I think I'll only go with 3. 3? So I'll go Arsenal.
Are you denying our audience some good content?
Let me try to stretch it a bit, but I think I will go 3. I'll go Arsenal. They are playing at home against Brighton. Then I'll go Man City. Away to West Ham.
Against West Ham?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think West Ham were, I'll not call it lucky over the weekend. Then I'll go, it's a bit tricky. I think I'll have to go Brentford. Playing at home to Soton.
Brentford have been awful. Anyway,
but then they are playing newly promoted
side Southampton.
So I think I foresee, if I were to stretch a bit, maybe then I can say Chelsea against Crystal Palace. I don't think I see Eze scoring at least 1 goal this time round. So for me, I'll go with those 3 teams.
Okay. Question number 2. Name 3 players for match day 3 that you think are most likely to appear on the score sheet.
Haaland, Saka, last but not least, Mo Salah. Manchester.
That is the norm, bro. You don't think any other players?
A surprise would be Isak. Yes.
Well, question number 3. Speaking of surprises, name 3 possible surprises this week. And by these surprises, we mean players that you think are undervalued but could perform.
I'll go with Rogers for Aston Villa. Then is a premium player at, I think, 5.1 million. Then I'll go, if you have maybe Konsa for Aston Villa again, if you have him in defense, he might also have a good game. Last but not least, I think I will not call him that he's cheap.
Yeah.
But I see Mbeumo having a good weekend. But he's not cheap. I think he's about 6.5.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Last but not least, we have seen some surprises in terms of disappointments, of course, from the players that we think should be performing for the Fantasy Premier League so far.
Yeah.
So for match day 3, who do you think, or name 3 possible disappointments for match day 3, so that I and Vincent and anyone else will avoid?
Okay, this will be unpopular. Madueke. He might, but for me, just because he scored 3 over last weekend, I don't. Maybe everyone now expect him to score.
Yep.
So another disappointment will come from, I'll say, Tottenham.
Tottenham?
Yeah. Most people, a lot of people have Solanke in their team.
But now he's injured. Probably they will transfer him out.
Okay. But still, I don't think.
Yeah.
If he plays,
if he plays, he will still be a disappointment.
He'll be a disappointment. Then the last one is, of course, obvious one. I know some people will stick with him. Nkunku. He'll still blank.
Yeah,
he will still blank.
Yeah, I think also for me, I'm thinking of how I can ship him out. Anyway, that is about the Fantasy Premier League, and we are looking now at the Fantasy League for Liquid Sports Show. You will see here a screenshot of how it is, and congratulations to the pace setter. How can you just call yourself pace setter and you be number 1? Congratulations. You have 167 points. I'll name only top 3. We have Bella, who has 157 points, and Henry Magu. This is one of my friends, by the way, and he has 148 points. Our expert here is still, I can't see him. Let me scroll. Number 14. Yeah, and I am number 17 with 128 points, and then we have Colito FC, the team that belongs to Vincent, the popular Vincent, who has 129 points. So that is it from the Fantasy Premier League, and remember to join our league as well and play with us, because sooner or later we're gonna have prizes and you never know. So that is the end. My name is Brian.
And I'm Allan.
And this is the Liquid Sports Show.